that will cover that taste and it's still edible meat.
Right.
You don't throw it away unless there's something really wrong. Then it goes to the dog, you know.
But, you know, I say that, tell you about the portioning it out. It lasts a lot longer. There's very little waste. And eventually I can pull those things out and cube them and can them.
You're going to see from some of the things that we're seeing now, in the coming years, you're going to see phones get a whole lot more expensive because of what's happening in China. When that happens, you know, so if you're looking to get a phone, I suggest you do it now, because a year from now the price is going to make your hair turn white. Go ahead and get them now. It take 2 to 3 years for the supply chain to catch back up and bring the prices back down. So you're about to have a kind of a drought. If you're looking for a new phone, get it now. If you're looking to get, you ain't got to go big in, go get one of them cheap crock pots. Walmart or something, a $20, $25 crock pot. Learn to use that. You know, Blackie, I'm not a cook. I've had a lot of people tell me that. A crock pot works real easy. Put it in, add some liquid, turn it on, high, low, depending on what you're cooking, and let it cook 6 to 7 hours. You got something to eat.
Yeah. On high, you can cook normally.
Mm-hmm.
On low, you know, you can, like, before you leave to go to work in the morning, you can put something in there that's even frozen.
Yeah.
You can take like a frozen roast and put it in there with all the fixings, and put the lid on it and turn it on low, and when you come home in the afternoon, it's done.
Yeah. The big reason for a pressure cooker, I had somebody asking me about it. Pressure cooker is you don't have time. And where they really became big was in canning and stuff like that, but also for the housewives that didn't have the time to let something cook for 6 or 7 hours. See, they needed to cook in 3 hours or 2 hours or 1 hour. And so a pressure cooker cooks much faster. A crock pot cooks slower. So when you're going to work in the morning is when you turn it on. And most of them, about all of them I know of, have those big ceramic bowls. Well, you go ahead the night before and you set that up and you slide it in the refrigerator. When you come out and you're heading to work, you turn on the coffee pot, you pull it out of the fridge, you set it into the crock pot, and you turn the crock pot on low. Don't worry, it won't crack it, because by the time it comes up to temp, it's warmed up that pot. So it's not putting a cold into a hot. You go to work. When you get back 6 hours later or 8 hours later, it's done. You're ready to eat dinner. You eat, rinse out the crock pot, put in the next stuff and go. We've got you got a lot of little local, it's not really a chain, but like grocery outlet and stuff, those small town grocery stores down here. And I go to Walmart for some of the big stuff, Public for some of the big stuff, but I go to these little ones for meat. And I tell you why. I went day before yesterday and went through their meat. Middle of the week is the time to do it, because weekend people are buying stuff, right? They're going to cook out or whatever, and that just the big stuff. Come in during like Tuesday or Wednesday. That's when you want to go looking for meat at a grocery store, because you're kind of in the shadow a little bit. And I found a pack of 4 chuck steaks that were 3/4 of an inch thick. And that's the end of a chuck roast they'd sliced off. It was an unusually big chuck roast, and they just sliced it off to make it a given size, right? So there's like about that big, 4 of them, $3.50. I bought it. There was pork chops, $2.18 for 4 of them. Now I'm cooking for just 2 people, so 4 is perfect. I don't need a big family pack. But then I go buy a big family pack of drumsticks, because my wife likes dark meat. She doesn't care that much for the white meat. And so I can eat either or. I'll get drumsticks. I can make barbecue chicken, baked chicken, use it in stews, whatever. Yeah. And a big pack of them is $6 for like a dozen drumsticks. So, you know, you pick and choose what you're looking for. When their sale comes up, like Barry said, that's when you want that little chest freezer to get it. Like I said, leave it in that package. There's no air to it. Seal it up. And go ahead and get you a magic marker and mark on the outside of a date so you know what to rotate through first. You know,
Right.
we got a good deal on a bunch of chicken. 1st of September. All right, here we are in the middle of October. Now in the freezer, I've got like 4 or 5 packages of chicken. Next week I'll start cooking chicken, and we'll have like chicken every couple of days until all that's processed. The pork chops go on sale into this month. I'll load up on pork chop, pork loin, stuff like that, whatever, and you keep it flowing through so that when times get really, really tough and the price of meat becomes ridiculous, you got stuff in the freezer to work with. Go ahead and get those packaged instant potatoes, instant rice dishes, stuff like that. They don't go bad easy. And stock up. Your friend, if you like sweets, go look at Jiffy. Is it Jiffy or the little Jiffy biscuits? Jiffy?
Yeah, it's Jiffy.
Jiffy.
The cornmeal mix and the biscuit mix.
Yeah, little bitty blue box, right? They're like $1 a piece. You add 1 egg and cold water to it. That's all you got to do, and stir it up. And it'll make cupcakes or a little cake or whatever, yellow cake. That's good. Biscuits, same way. Jiffy was developed back in the Great Depression for housewives and stuff, pre-measured, ready to go, and all you got to do is add water or something. Like I said, to make a yellow cake, you need 1 egg and a ½ cup of water. That's it. I've done it on camp out before. Make it in a Dutch oven.
In Old Wayz 6, where we bake bread and biscuits, it's a Jiffy biscuit mix he's using.
Yeah.
There's also, you can take just a standard yellow or cake mix, just any kind of cake mix, and take a can of some carbonated beverage like Sprite or Coke or
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper or whatever, and take that 1 box of mix, put it in a bowl, dump in your drink, stir it up, and bake it. That's it.
Makes a cake. It's got good flavor that way. And of course, beer bread. Cheapest beer you can find, a pre-measured thing of it is Bisquick or that Jiffy or whatever, 1 can of beer or ½ can of beer, depending on how much liquid for the box you're using. Pour it in there, stir it up, and the foam in the beer will make the bread rise. And you can make biscuits, you can make bread, whatever.
The bread that I made in Old Wayz 6 is beer bread.
Super simple. You can't beat it. For how simple can you get? Making sweets, stuff like that. How hard is it to make candy? Not that hard once you figure out that it's just a technique.
Yeah.
Right now candy and stuff is cheap, and I wouldn't even bother making it. But times get hard, you got little ones. You want to learn to make sweets. I want to be able to make tea cakes, cookies, something like that that's sweet. And you can learn how to substitute honey for sugar. You know, when you can't get sugar, but you can get honey, you know, you can substitute. Changes the flavor. It don't take that much effort to be a good cook. It really doesn't. You just got to learn how to combine. And like we've said in several videos, go ahead and get you one of the Bisquick books. You can get them used off eBay or used bookstores or whatever. And there's a ton of recipes in there for using the same Bisquick mix and how you arrange it to make pizza dough, dumplings, rolls, bread, tacos, whatever. Cakes, pancakes, whatever. You just start with this and you add what to it and make it into something else. It's the Play-Doh. I mean, you just make it out of it. Roll it around, there it is. My grandmother had the big old sifter and the baking soda. She didn't buy Bisquick, she made her own. And she'd take had a sifter part of it, and she'd put her bowl up there and she'd sift so much flour, throw in so many tablespoons of this, so many of that, stir it up, and that became pancakes. She'd do the same thing, a little different ratio, and that became rolls.
Yeah.
And she just constantly making her own stuff, biscuit, bread.
We're taking the long way around the barn to remind you that getting ready for difficult situations is not hard. It takes a little bit of thought, so creative engineering, but it's not difficult. Living in an old way is not difficult. It may take a little creative engineering to exercise those brain cells to get back into that mindset, but you can do it. There are a lot of situations that I will not name for fear of offending the gods at YouTube that are on our horizon. Okay, right now, real time, are on our horizon that don't bode well. Build your ark before the rain starts. Don't wait for it to start raining because it's going to be too late.
World War I happened and they declared rationing. World War II happened and they declared rationing, where you couldn't get meat, you couldn't get milk, cheese, and butter.
Or you were very limited in what you could get.
Very limited. We've grown up in a world where you could get whatever you want as long as you had the money. That may not be the case forever. And so your grandparents remembered not being able to get meat. You know, you just got to make the effort today to set it up. And, you know, like I said, it's not that difficult to make a little bit of an allowance, like what I'm doing if I save the juices from this meal to act as flavoring for another meal.
Right.
What that little container set in the fridge, it'll be fine until I use it after tomorrow. You know, you see a really good deal on something, meat or whatever, or they're getting rid of it. Or a lot of times you go to Publix and they got 2 for 1. You know, they got peanut butter. Yeah, grab 2 of them suckers. You know, and go with that.
Case in point, the night before last, I was at the house by myself. Rare occasion, but I was. And I fixed myself some grits and eggs for supper. Now, those of you who grew up eating grits realize that a little bit of grits goes a long, long way. And I had a good bit of it left over. Well, building off of what he has preached for a long time, I vacuum sealed it in a bag. That last serving that was left, I vacuum sealed it in a bag. And on the outside of it, in case one of my kids decides they want it, I put what it was, the date that I made it, and how to rewarm it. Which is put a pot of boiling water on the stove, stick it in the boiling water, and let it warm up from the outside in.
Yeah, and it's perfectly ready to eat.
Water immersion.
Don't put it in a microwave, it'll dry it out.
Don't put it in a microwave. Don't cut the bag up. Leave it vacuum sealed, put it in, let it warm up. 5 or 10 minutes, you're done.
Yeah. And it's simple things like that that's going to make the difference, you know, of being comfortable and being able to do it. You know, like you say, we can't touch on certain things, but you can watch the news, you know what's going on in the world right now.
And you're all intelligent. If you weren't intelligent, if you weren't geniuses, you wouldn't be watching us.
Right. But the thing about it is, it could real quick blow up. I mean, World War I happened because one guy got shot. And suddenly everybody just seemed to jump into the fray and want to start fighting.
What's going on now can go wrong on multiple levels in the snap of a finger.
Real quick.
And you've got to be ready.
Yeah. Take care of you, take care of your family. And it doesn't, when you go to the grocery store, you ain't got to do a big outlay. Just buy an extra couple of cans, buy 2 extra cans of vegetables. 1 extra package of, you know, instant potatoes or something. And just label it, put it over there. We have in my cabinets, we have the vegetables are in one, the soups and stuff are in one, and then there's one cabinet that I've got these pull-out totes. That's the larder. And so when we get a really good deal on like instant mashed potatoes, I'll put a date on it and I'll put it in there. And when we run out of mashed potatoes packages over here, I always go and look at that first to see what's the oldest. Okay, pull them out and put it. I'll buy 2 more and I'll throw them in here.
Always remember this little saying, 3 is 2, 2 is 1, and 1 is none.
Yeah.
Build your larder that way. When you go to the grocery store, grab the extra cans of vegetables, okay? Eat fresh. I'm not saying don't eat fresh, but eat fresh today. Save the cans for another day.
Yeah.
When you go, I've started buying dried milk, okay? I've got some small kids in my house, and they like their milk. And I have found that if you will mix up the milk according to the directions, stir it up real good with the water and just set it in the fridge and let it sit overnight and age, you really can't tell the difference.
Yeah, it'll actually hydrate right back. We used to do it where we would take a half gallon of real milk and we'd make 3 gallons of powdered milk and then add in to it, and you couldn't tell it wasn't whole milk. And as far as that, add a little bit of Nestle Quick to it, and the kids can't tell the difference. They'll drink I would drink gallons of Nestle Quick chocolate milk as a little one.
Me too.
And so my granny would just take a small tea pitcher and just go ahead and make it up, so I could open the fridge and pour myself something. I hadn't bugged her for it.
Yeah. You can go to your favorite big box and get the store brand juice Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I buy a lot of it from the big box where he used to work. And I can get for $1.79, $2.25, I can get about 6 gallons worth of Kool-Aid out of it.
Yeah.
That's not bad,
Yeah.
really.
And all it is things that you need to be prepping for are, you need a little bit of money saved up, stuck back. In actual money, not sitting in some bank somewhere that can be seized, or suddenly the bank closes the doors and they're not opening today. You need actual money, a little bit on hand. You need, to be able to have, I recommend people go get one of those Visa cards that you get at Walmart and you can load it. Go ahead and put a couple $100 on that. You can pay for gas for that. If you got, due to whether you got to evacuate, you can scan that and use that for a gas card.
Provided the pumps are working.
Provided the pumps are working. That's what the cash is for when the pumps ain't.
Yeah.
And have yourself a emergency bag if you live in areas that could have blizzards, hurricanes. This winter should be kind of rough. Blizzards, hurricanes, or earthquakes. You need a bug out set there in case the building you're in is going to be damaged in some way and you got to move out. You can't hunker down in place. Well, you need something to grab and go with. We talked about this. You need at least a month's worth of food put up. And when you add that up, that sounds like huge. It ain't as much as you think. Once you get a month's worth of food put up, ready to go, where I can feed myself at least one good meal per day for 30 days for me and all of whoever I got to constitute for. So somebody like him doing 4 kids got to have much bigger larder than me and my wife. Once you got that figured out, you got a little bit of peace of mind, so that whenever the price goes through the roof on something to eat and you just can't get nothing to eat because you just can't afford it, you got food to fall back on.
Always remember this when you're doing that. It takes approximately 1,000 pounds of food for one person for 1 year. Now divide that by 12, and it's going to be 750 pounds. We'll just call it 750 pounds. No, I'm sorry, 75 pounds per person per month. So in his case, he needs to come up with 150 pounds of food.
Yeah, 150 pounds equivalent. I allotted for 200.
I've got to come up with about 500.
We bought canned hams whenever those were on sale. They got a shelf life of about like a Twinkie. Add a little brown sugar and a little bit of pineapple It don't taste like canned ham.
And it's already cooked.
It's already cooked. Cans of Danny Moore beef stew, cans of chicken and dumplings, cans of SpaghettiOs, whatever's on sale, add them in.
The freeze-dried meals
Yeah.
that we were talking about back in a few episodes where you were using the immersion cooking.
Yeah.
I forget what the brand name is.
Hormel.
But they're relatively inexpensive.
Hormel completes are like $2 a piece.
Yeah.
And what it was is Hormel designed those to be MREs, and the military rejected them. But they got like 15, 20 flavors, and you can microwave it or just stand it up in a pot of boiling water, and I use a bush pot out in the field to heat it up. They're good. There's a big variety of them. They're actual hunk of meat and potatoes or pastas or whatever. So if you just take the time to walk up and down the aisle with an eye for things like that, you'll spot them at a grocery store a lot cheaper than you get from like a backpacking store or something like that.
I have homework for you. Next time you're in the grocery store, just locate them and look at the expiration date on them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's way out there.
Like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But also, when you're in the grocery store, go to the clearance aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the dollar, what they call the dollar aisle, and just check it out. There's some really good buys on the dollar aisle.
One of the things I like is going to like talking about Dollar Tree or Dollar General and looking at theirs, and they'll have coffee. They'll have these little bitty packages of sugar. That's like a half pound of sugar for 99 cents, you know, and sugar, spices. One of the reasons our ancestors were so big on spices was because if they were eating the same stuff over and over again, it was to change it up, make it hot, add some curry to it, add some paprika to it, whatever. So spices are a big thing. We don't think about that today because we're used to such a varied diet. But putting up spices would be a good thing to actually learn how to change the flavor of something. We did chicken breast one week that we had a big box of chicken breast that landed in our lap. We didn't have a deep freezer. And so we cooked chicken breast every night for a week and never had them the same way twice. It was garlic and butter, there was hot ones, there was barbecue, there was paprika, there was, you know, I made it different every night and it didn't taste the same.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. He made mention a few minutes ago about the big family packs of drumsticks.
Mm-hmm.
Or the family packs of wings, wings or thighs or whatever. If you are a single, pardon me, if you're a single, it's not going to hurt you to buy one of those and portion it out.
Put them in quart Ziploc bags and freeze them.
Yeah, you can put them in quart Ziploc bags. If you happen to have a vacuum sealer, vacuum sealers at Walmart are not expensive.
Not at all.
You know, you go in, you're gonna drop $20. About like buying a crock pot. By the time you buy the sealer and some bags to seal in, you might have $30 tied up in it, and then proportion out your meat to what you're gonna eat. And you can throw those vacuum sealed bags in the freezer, date them, so you'll know when they went in.
Another redneck trick is, you know, the stainless steel drinking straws you get for a cup. You take and like put a couple of drumsticks, you know, big end, big end, big end, in so it fit the best into a quart Ziploc bag. You have a sink full of water. You zip up the thing to where just that straw sitting in it, and then slide the whole thing down in the water. Don't take that lip underwater, but take it down where it's right at the water surface, and the water pressure will push all the air out of that bag, except that teeny bit at the top. Then you pull out the straw and click it closed, and it's not vacuum sealed, but you've expelled 90% of the air. It'll last longer before it gets freezer burned.
Yeah.
That's the trick I do most of the time when I'm putting them up.
I had this horrible remembrance of somebody that I know taking a big slug of bloody chicken water.
That was a day.
That was a night.
Yeah, we were at a living history event, and I had two coolers that were the same make and model, same color, and one was all the meat and one was all the drinks and other stuff. And we had just come back from patrol, and I was so thirsty. The only thing I wanted in this whole world was a cup of ice water. And I had just stepped into my tent whenever somebody come running up, a lady had cut her leg with a butcher knife and needed stitches. And the medical guy we had said, "Who's with me?" I said, I'll go. And I snatched open the cooler, plunged it down into the water, came up, chugged water, set the cup down, took off, and I grabbed the wrong cooler, and there was raw chicken in that water. And I didn't know it. And so like 5 hours later, Montezuma's Black Plague Revenge hit, and here it was 18 degrees, and I was having explosive on all fronts. I was so sick. I should have gone to the hospital. I really should have, but no, Blackie had to be stupid and stay there.
Well, when you were talking about the aluminum straw, I could just see you putting your mouth down.
Oh no, that straw is only used for that. And it's only used for that. And then I've got it's really a thing for a toothbrush to go into.
Yeah.
And I put a little bit of Clorox water in it, and that's what that straw goes into. Yeah, and it's got a bright pink mouthpiece on it, so it's obvious that's what that is. That's a straw. And so we use it just for that, for me to kind of redneck vacuum seal, which is not just a fill in the air. But anyway, I think I see the little light, yep, blinking, telling me the battery's about to go. So we're going to need to call it quits. Anything else, bro?
Yeah. Things are so fluid right now. Don't be asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
Okay? There can be, I don't want to use the word dire consequences, but there can be some very, very, very interesting things going on in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Don't wear blinders. Don't cover your eyes.
Be prepared.
Be aware.
Always be prepared for it to go bad.
Yeah.
That way, if it don't, you're in a good shape. If it does go bad, you've at least got yourself covered.
Yeah. Be aware of your situation. Be aware of your environment. Be aware of what's going on around you.
Yep.
Keep your head on a swivel.
And try your best to have food and prepare, because if you got food, everything else is negotiable.
Have food. Be prepared and be protected.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, guys, till next time, I'm Blackie.
And Bear.
Wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.